Carlos Ramirez, owner of NVS Audio in Roselle, New Jersey. Today I'm doing a review of the Boss Audio bhd3f. That's this kit right here. This kit is for the 1998 through 2021 Harley Davidson Street Glide, Road Glide, Electric Glide. The kit includes amplifiers and 2 front speakers. All necessary power, speaker harness, everything. No cutting, plug and play installation, 100% weatherproof. It's a good solid kit. The guys over at Boss sent it over to me to review after they saw my review of the Boss lid kit when I compared it to the Rockford Fosgate lid kit. This one. So, the Boss lid kit and the Rockford lid kit were almost identical. I mean, the wires were the same, the cutting kit was the kit. There was very, very few differences. So, when it came to this kit, I expected the same thing, but it's not. This kit is completely different than anything Rockford Fosgate offers, and I understand why they did it that way. The Boss wanted one kit to handle 98 through 2021. Rockford separates their kit, 98 through 13 and 14 through 21. Rockford also separates it again between Street Glide and Road Glide. So, with Boss, for a lot of you shops out there that are trying to get into the motorcycle audio market, and less SKUs, less part numbers means less stuff you have to stock. So with Boss Audio, in the motorcycle kits, you have the lid kit, which would be the bhd3f and the bhd3f. That covers the 98 through 13 and 14 through 21 Harley Davidson baggers. And then if you stock this one single kit, you could do 98 through 2021. 98 through 2021 Street Glide, Road Glide speakers. So you can get a complete kit from Boss for, let me add this up real quick. You can do a complete kit from Boss, just parts, $1,040. Gets you the front speakers, amplifier, and the lid kit, regardless of what year your bike is, whether it's 98 through 13. Going with Rockford Fosgate, it's going to cost you a lot more than that. So let's use a 2014 Street Glide, for example. You're going to be at $2,270, so literally double the money. Now the question is, are you getting double the quality? So when we only tested the speakers in the lid kit, the Boss came in a very close second to the Rockford kit. As far as the front component kit, I compared everything in the two kits. Everything. But we'll start with the specification first and the manuals. So I'm very disappointed in the Boss install manual, because where the Rockford manual is very articulate, very clear, very specific, the Boss manual gives you kind of sort of instructions. So we start with fitting speakers in 8 to 13 Street Glide and Batwing models. So it tells you to use the Torx 27, tells you to protect the fender, shows you how to unbolt the windshield, shows you how to remove the fairing. Then on the 14 through 20 Batwing Street Glide, same thing, shows you how to remove the fairing, shows you how to remove the windshield. But when it comes to the Road Glide, 98 to 13, really doesn't tell you anything. And first of all, the picture is wrong, because as you can see there, it's a 98 through 13 Shark Nose Road Glide. That's a picture of a Street Glide. So it doesn't tell you at all how to remove the fairing on the Road Glide, and the picture stopped there. So 14 and up, Street Glide and Road Glide, it basically says remove the screws and mount the new speakers. So on the older Street Glide, it showed you step by step. On the older and newer Road Glide, I guess you got to figure it on your own. So The main difference between the kits is the way that Boss Audio wants you to get signal from the radio. But while we're still comparing the kits, so the Boss kit does 98 through 2021 Street Glide, Road Glide. Rockford kit is their Stage 2 kit. We're only talking about the front speaker kit. Is an HD14U. It's $1,620, so that's a $930 difference from the Boss kit. And if you have a 14 and up, gives you T-harness from behind the radio to catch signal, gives you power and ground harness, everything's plug and play, and it gives you an option to integrate the DSR1 DSP into the T-harness, which we love. Now, where it gets a little tricky is on the older bikes. So 98 through 13, if you want a complete package with speakers, amplifiers, and wiring, for some reason Rockford doesn't offer it that way. They can give you a complete package, which is their radio, their 98 through 13 single DIN weatherproof radio, and the 2 front speakers, and the harnesses for that. That would be $1,200. I'm sorry, yes, $1,200. That'll get you the radio and the speakers. Now, if you want a stage package with an amplifier, once again, you are forced to buy the radio. And that is $2,000. That'll get you the radio, the amplifier, and the front speakers. If you're not interested in changing the radio and you want to do a plug-and-play kit, you have to buy the components separately with Rockford. So that would be, let's start with a Road Glide. So 98 through 13 Road Glide. After you piece it together, it's $1,250. You would need a TMS 6RG. That's the speaker kit with the grills and the adapters. That's $400. You would need an RFK HD 9813. That's the amplifier, power, and speaker installation kit. And then you would need the TM400X4AD. That's $570. So that's the amplifier, the wire harnesses and speaker adapters, and the speakers. Now if you have a Street Glide 98 through 13, it's the same thing. You have to get the Street Glide speaker kit, then you'd have to get the same power harness, which is the RFK HD 9813, and the amplifier, which is the TM400X4AD. So if you piece together the kit from Rockford, it's $1,250 for the amp kit, the amp, and the speakers. With Rockford, you get new speaker grills for the Road Glide, 98 through 13, and the same thing with the Street Glide. So the way Boss did it that made their kit different is from 98 to 21, they've included everything. But the major difference, there's no T-harness off the radio. They want you to get signal directly from the speaker wires. So the way Rockford did it is a lot nicer, but they charge you a lot more money for it. So we'll start with the amplifier bracket and amp bracket, which looks exactly the same as the Rockford bracket, and the amplifier. What's strange about the amplifier is it looks like they copied the TMX 400 and the new M5 amplifier because the size is the same, they look identical, but this acrylic window that comes on the Boss amplifier looks exactly like the acrylic window that comes on the new M5 Rockford amplifier. They both have clip indicators. The amps look identical. We haven't tested power yet, that's later on today. The amp mounts are also identical. So there's the Street Glide, the Road Glide add-on to the Street Glide bracket on the Rockford. And here's the one for Boss. Once again, identical. The Boss kit comes with speaker adapters. This is for the older Street Glides because they're 5 1/4, and this allows you to install the Boss 6 1/2. when you compare the Boss speaker to the Rockford speaker, very, very, very similar. The difference is just like in the 6x9, ferrite magnet on the Boss, neomagnet on the Rockford. The design of the Rockford is nicer. There's no exposed crossovers, so there's no chance of water damaging the crossover. So just a standard capacitor with exposed wiring on the Boss kit. Rockford, the tweeter protection is actually hidden under the magnet assembly. So obviously the Rockford's more expensive because they have more money into the engineering. Now the main difference, and this is where you can get yourself in trouble if you're switching between the two companies, is the power plug on the Rockford amplifier. Even though the plugs are identical, and you can plug the Rockford plug into the Boss and the Boss plug into the Rockford, you don't want to do that because the wires are pinned differently. So here's the Rockford plug, plugged into the Boss amplifier. Here's the Boss plug, plugged into the Rockford amplifier. But you have to look and read carefully because on the Boss amplifier, it's 12 volt positive, remote, and ground, in that order. On the Rockford, it's 12 volt positive, ground, and remote. You will blow the amplifier if, let's say, you start with the Boss kit and upgrade to the Rockford kit. The connections will plug in, but you have to rearrange the order of the power and ground wires, or else you will blow the amplifier. You will, guaranteed, you will smoke the amp. Speaker connections. So we have the speaker output side on the same side as power, and I'm looking at the Rockford and I'm looking at the Boss, and they're identical. So we have front on the right, rear on the left. They get bridged the same way, and the speaker orientation is exactly the same on both. RR, LL, RR, LL. So the only thing different on the input side is the arrangement of the power wires. On the speaker output side, they're identical. Plugs are even identical. On the input side, there's another major difference. Rockford takes speaker level and RCAs through the same plug. So whether it's speaker level or RCAs, it goes through the same plug. That's why there's only two connectors on the Rockford. Boss saves some money doing it this way. So there's a high level side and a low level side. That's why there's 4 plugs. So if you're doing an aftermarket radio, then you would go RCA input. If you're doing a factory radio, then you would go high level input. So 4 connectors on the Boss, 2 connectors on the Rockford. Both amps have clipping indicators, which I love, which makes the amplifier way easier to tune. So the Rockford comes with similar brackets, but you have to buy the different kits. The Boss comes with all the brackets to be able to do 98 through 2021, and they're clearly labeled. So this is the Road Glide bracket that holds the amplifier on the side under the small glove compartments, and that's on the 98 through 13 Road Glide. If you want to put it on the opposite side, here's the other bracket, also for the Road Glide. Street Glide, it just mounts on top of the radio. Speaker adapters. If you have a custom fairing, it comes with standard 6.5-inch grills. If you have the factory fairing, let me show you those. So if you're running a 14 through 21 Street Glide, these are the replacement grills. If you're running a 15 through 21 Road Glide, these are the replacement grills. Nice grills, solid metal. I like the fact that it comes with the clips, because with most you have to reuse the clip from the factory grill, which I think I would do anyway because I don't trust the quality of these aftermarket clips. But you do have to reuse your factory rubber. Nope, you don't. It comes with the rubber. Look at that. So it's a complete drop-in fit. Comes with the rubber, and it comes with the grill clips. Good job, boss. One less thing I have to swap over and order. And we have clients that have lost or broken their grills. So this gives us extra hardware. Thank you. One thing I have to nitpick is the amplifier came with an Allen key that didn't fit. That's why we haven't removed the window. So now I got to go grab my snap-on Allen key so we could see the dials and the controls. Alright, so we got the cover plate off. The amplifiers looks very similar, but there's an obvious difference in quality. As a matter of fact, let me look up the price difference between the two amplifiers. Okay, in a very strange move by Boss, the amplifier is only available as part of the speaker package. I just checked their website, it's not available separately. They do have Power Sports amps that are available separately, but in the motorcycle line, the only thing they offer is kits. You cannot buy this amp separately, which is very strange. I don't understand that, but okay. The Rockford amp by itself is $570. The entire Boss kit is $690. So if we apply the Rockford math, where the amplifier costs almost 50% of the entire package, then that would mean that the Boss amplifier is somewhere around $350 to $300. So I guess it's decent quality for a $300 amplifier. It's got clipping indicators, which cost some money to put in there. The connectors are solid. You saw me struggle to take the power plug out. Once they're in there, they're not coming out. It's got a decent amount of water resistance built in. So I see value in this package. I mean, $690 for a complete package. If you install it yourself, you can have, for $1,000, you can have full audio on your bike with 400 watt amp, pushing a set of 6 fine cutting kit in the lids and a set of 6 navs in the fairing. I don't know any other company that can give you a plug and play package for that price. The connectors are solid. Once again, it looks like they're using the same factory that Rockford's using. So the connectors are, this is the rear harness, which I'll talk about in a minute, but same plugs that Rockford uses. As a matter of fact, I'm going to plug it into the Rockford amp so you can see. Literally same plugs. Plugs in there, plugs in there, locked in. So, factory 14 and up Harley Davidson speaker pod connectors, low level RCA connectors, speaker level RCA connectors. So it's a good solid kit. Got to get on the test bench to make sure it performs. Even the fuse holder is Rockford Fosgate style, and the wire is oxygen-free copper wire, at least it better be. Yes, oxygen-free copper wire, 100%. So it's a good solid kit. Major difference between the Boss kit and the Rockford kit is on the 14 and up, where you don't get the T-harness behind the radio. You have to catch signal from the speaker pods, and you don't have the option to plug a DSP in, plug and play. So the Rockford definitely gets 2 thumbs up for that. And I get it. I understand why Boss did it. Since they were trying to make it work from 98 through 2014, the only option was to catch the speaker outputs at the actually speaker wire speaker pods. So they're catching signal from the front speaker pods at the speaker pod, and then sending it into the amplifier, and then giving you the speaker outputs. And then the other major difference is the rear harness. So this is the same rear harness that comes in the Rockford 98 through 13 kit. This is the same rear harness that comes in the Rockford 98 through 13 kit. What it does is, on these older bikes, the speaker connections in the back could have been in the tour pack pods, in the saddlebags. So no matter where the connections are, it's going to have you plug in to your left side and right side wires. Then it's going to send signal all the way back up to the front, and then once you plug this into the amp, it's going to send signal all the way back to the back, and then you plug it into your rear speakers, whether it's tour pack pods on the Ultras or factory speaker lids. No matter where the speakers are, it's going to catch signal from the speaker, send it up to the amplifier, and then send it back. So obviously the input wires are way thinner than the output wires because this is low voltage, this is higher voltage. So the 14 and up Rockford kit is obviously nicer, but it's double the money. The 98 through 13 portion of this is about equivalent to the Rockford. This kit gives a lot of flexibility, so if you're a smaller shop and you can't afford to stock a bunch of different kits, this kit allows you to do 98 through 21 plug and play. So they did a good job with the wiring. Obviously, they're getting the wiring from the same factory as Rockford. They have the accessory plug for the, if the amp doesn't send signal automatically, you can catch remote turn on from there, or plug in whatever other accessories you need to plug in without splicing the harness. So I see value in this kit. I think for $600-700, it's at a price point that it's hard to compete with. And it's a good starter kit. Let's say you started with this kit, the wiring's there and it's already solid. You can upgrade the amplifier. You can even go with the Rockford M5 amplifier. Just make sure that you repin the power plug and get power, ground, or remote in the correct order. And then you're going to send more power to the speakers in the front. And then you can upgrade the speakers to whatever you want because the mounting kit is already there. So they give you the adapter. So you just switch out the speaker to whatever speaker you want. But I think it's a good starting package. I see value in it. As long as the amplifier does the numbers that it promises, I give it 2 thumbs up as a recommendation for the price point. Because we carry speaker upgrades, just 2 speakers that cost more than this entire kit. Let's say you went with a set of Euphoria Expert carbon fiber 6.5s. You're talking $1,200-1,400 for 2 speakers. You can do the entire kit installed for less than that. So you're not gonna win any sound competitions, but you got some music going down the road, especially on these older bikes. So I see value in it. I think it's good. I think it's solid. I love the quality of the install equipment. These brackets, the quality of these brackets, amazing. Speaker connections are good. They give you all stainless steel hardware to mount everything. The only negative for me is the instructions are terrible. So we're going to be doing a full build, so you don't have to rely on their instructions. I'm going to do a step-by-step video on how to properly install it, and we're going to put the NVS audio twist on it. And I'm going to make a separate video. We're actually giving this entire package away. So this and the 6x9 package, we're going to give it away. So Boss donated the equipment, so we're going to donate the labor. And to get the most out of it, we're also going to include a DSP. So look out for that video. I'll probably have it up tomorrow, the day after you see this video. So it's going to be the complete Boss lid kit. Only thing, it's got to be Street Glide, Road Glide, Ultra, any of the baggers from 98 to 2021, and you will get the entire kit for free. So that's front speakers, 400-watt amplifier, DSP, all the plug-and-play wire harnesses. Everything will be soldered, quick disconnect. You're going to get the speaker lid cut-in kit. So, yeah, I'm going to post that video later. But this video is only about this kit. So now let's throw it on the bench and make sure the amplifier does the numbers it's supposed to do. Let's drop the speakers in a pod and give them a listen to see how they sound compared to the Rockford 6.5-inch speakers. And we'll go from there. So, I don't know if it's going to happen with every kit, but in our kit, the Allen key to remove the Allen head screws for the plastic screen cover, the waterproof cover, did not fit. It's a cheap, like 10-cent Chinese Allen key. It didn't fit. So we used our snap-on, and it's a 2.5 millimeter in case you run into the same problem. It's just a 2.5 millimeter. That's the Allen key that comes with the kit. You can see the ends all deformed, so it didn't fit in. So we just used the snap-on one. So I'm really surprised. The clip indicator on the amplifier works really well. We're feeding a 1000 hertz tone. We have the amplifier bridge. We're driving one channel. Clip indicators lit up. The line's looking kind of jagged. We'll back down. Clip indicators out. And there we are. 31 volts. Pretty smooth sine wave. No clip indicator. Let's kick it up a little bit. There we go. We have clipping at 36 volts. So let's back down. And as you notice, the wave gets fuzzy on top. At the same time the indicator's lit up. Let's kick it down. Indicators out. 32 volts. Pretty clean sine wave. So let's do the math. (32 times 32 divided by 4). 256 watts out of this amplifier bridged. So that's pretty good considering this amplifier is supposed to do 100 by 4 and 200 by 2 bridge. So we're actually doing 256. The numbers are actually really close to the Rockford numbers. So didn't think it was going to do rated voltage, and there it is, rock solid, 32 volts, 1000 hertz, no clipping indicator. Really surprised. I don't think people realize how loud these motorcycle speakers are, even on an entry-level set like this. So we have one Boss 6.5 and one Rockford Fosgate 6.5 playing off 800.4 bridge. I'm on the other side of the shop. Look how far I am.
How it feels, I never thought that at first I could feel so real. They'll never know this loving how it feels.
Not bad for a set of entry-level speakers. These entry-level speakers all suffer from the lack of mid-bass. Obviously, they're entry-level speakers. They have a really small voice call, so they're not going to give you mid-bass. But they play pretty loud on low power. I want to give a huge shout-out to Colin Ross over at Boss Audio. He reached out to me, and the Boss lid kit I tested on my own. I took money out of my own pocket to test it. He wanted me to test these, so he actually sent them over to me free of charge. I told him anybody that sends me anything to test, I tell them that I'm going to tell the truth. If the product doesn't perform well, I don't want to hurt any company. So if the product doesn't perform well, sometimes I'll just send it back and I just won't make a video. But most of the time, the companies believe in their product and they tell me to go ahead and be honest with the review, and it'll help them develop the product further in the future. So I let Colin know that if it didn't do what it was supposed to do, that I was going to say it. And he was confident in the product, and he said, go ahead, do whatever you need to do. I asked him to send me an extra 6.5 because I was going to blow one on purpose. It's something that I do with a lot of speakers. I want to see what the thermal power handling is. Not that it has anything to do with the quality of the speaker. I'm just curious to see, because a lot of clients are abusive and they're going to blow stuff up. So I'd rather it blow up in my hands so I know where the thermal limit is. It has nothing to do with quality or tuning. It's just, I just want to know where the speaker reaches mechanical failure. So I was pretty impressed. It took 250 watts RMS to blow the speaker. Speaker's rated at 75 watts, 150 watts max. So I was at over way over double. I was like triple, quadruple RMS, and this speaker is frozen. I blew it up. It does not move. But you see, I was testing it at 150, 200 watts, clean, no problem. So the speaker can handle power on a proper tune. These things can handle a good amount of power. So I told him I was going to blow it up, and I did. Before I even got to finish testing the speaker, he already had a replacement in my hand. So shout out to Colin for allowing me to test this. They make a good entry-level product. It's rock solid. It's something that I wouldn't have a problem installing or offering at that price point. Most of the builds that we do at a much higher price point than that, so the stuff wouldn't be a good fit. But for you do-it-yourselfers out there, this is a great starting point. Like for 690 bucks, plug and play, weatherproof, good performance. You're not going to get any bass, but there's no speaker that comes with an amp wiring at under 700 bucks that's going to give you bass. It's just simple physics. It's not going to happen. But it's a good quality product. I'm glad I got the chance to review it. I think there's definitely a fit in the market for it. I definitely see value in it. So hope this review helps. Okay, so I think that was a pretty thorough review. We put the speaker head-to-head with its closest competitor, which would be the Rockford, and they both did fairly well. They both did more than rated power. To make the test even, what I did was I used a Sound Digital 800.4 and bridged it. So we dialed it back a little bit, so we were getting about 300, between 250 and 300 watts per speaker. That way it was an even playing field. I didn't want to test the Boss speaker on the Rockford amp, and I didn't want to test the Rockford speaker on the Boss amp. So to make it fair and even, I tested them both on the Sound Digital 800 with more than double their rated RMS power. So both speakers handle it just fine. I did have the high pass filter set at 100 though, so I use a 12 dB Proctive high pass at 100. Both speakers played pretty loud considering they weren't getting a lot of power, but had the volume up maybe 70%. So at 250 to 300 watts, so they were really seeing about 175 with music, maybe 190. But they played really loud. Neither speaker had a lot of mid bass. That's where all the entry-level speakers suffer because they have such a small voice coil and they're drop-in fit, so don't expect mid bass out of these speakers. But for an entry-level, weatherproof, drop-in fit, no cutting, no splicing, you can't go wrong with either kit, and I think the Boss shows a ton of value at this price point. The difference in performance was negligible. So the Rockford 6.5 had a better tweeter. The highs were better on the Rockford. The mid bass was about the same on both. The Rockford's running a neo magnet, so it's smaller and lighter. The Boss is running a standard ferrite magnet. I remember, don't worry. Do you remember? I remember how it all began. How could I ever forget? It's the first time. Do you remember? I can feel it. I can feel it. I can feel it coming in the air. I can feel it in hands. I can feel it in each other. I can feel it. It's coming in the air. Hold on, we fell in love. You remember the time? How could I ever forget? You remember the time? Hold on, we fell in love. You remember the time? How could I ever forget? Coming in the air tonight. We fell in love. You remember how it real. How it real, and that feels so real. How it real, how it real, how it real, feels so